Hello, everybody. My name is Puppetine from the Geeky Puppet Show here on the Geeky Puppet Show today. For what? For the Winchesters, episode 3. You're lost, little girl. What a name! And joining me, as always, of course, is Froggy.
How's it going?
Yes. So we are 3 episodes in. The supernatural prequel, as it were, is still going, and we're going to ask today whether or not it's going strong. I am excited to talk about. I liked the aspect of the monster of this week, but we'll get to that. We'll of course get to that.
This show is really becoming Halloweenish.
Do. All right, so we start off this episode, first off, with this little girl, and she's talking into a ham radio, and she is contacting her mother. Her mother is a truck driver, and she seems to have lost this little toy, this bunny rabbit that she uses to sleep with. And so she's there. She's saying, "Mom, can't you come home, please? Help me find my bunny." Her mom says, "Well, no, I got to earn this paycheck. Hard times on the road. But you just be a big girl, and I'll be home. I'll be home when I can." And so she's getting ready to just call it quits. But that's when she hears a rustling behind her. What is it? What could it be? It's a bag. There's a bag on the floor. And she approaches. Yes, there's the bag. What's inside? It's her bunny. It's right there. Isn't that convenient? I wish things that I lost would just pop up in a bag on the floor.
But as she gets on the bed, hands start rising out of the bag.
Oh, look at those pixel fingers.
It's Werewolf by Night.
And that long shadow, these long arms cascade this huge shadow over her, and that's really our beginning. Meanwhile, the Scooby Gang, I suppose we could call them that. I don't like calling them that. But
before we get to the Scooby Gang, though, they actually show the girl.
Well, yes.
Yeah, because before we get to the introduction and everything, she's in there, and we get this creepy shot of this tunnel. I love these camera angles when they're doing spooky stuff. Yes. It turns out this monster is a hoarder. He has everything. He's basically, if you lost something, he has it, and he lures you in there so he can feed on you.
Sounds a lot like my father.
He's in the dimension of misfit toys that are lost.
I don't know if it would be more frightening or less frightening if they all started moving and singing.
So the monster, we see them, coming in, and you see them. At first, you're like, okay, is this a woman? Is it a guy? We don't know. Is walking this thing, and then we see it crawling on the wall.
Yeah, isn't that lovely? Isn't that just comforting?
I kept thinking, is this a Sasquatch guy? But why is he crawling on the wall?
It reminds me of our early streams, Froggy.
Yes. Then it's looking at the little pile. And what's in the pile? At first, he sees something, nothing, and then as soon as it goes away, the eyes open. Yes, that's where Claire is. The little girl named Claire was abducted. She was alone home with her brother, Ford. Cool, awesome name, for first name for a kid.
Solid name.
Yes. All right.
You should drive a Ford.
So yeah. So then after that, it goes. Well, they get a phone call.
Yep. So on the scene, quickly, Mary arrives, and of course, John is like, "I'll go with you." Yeah, they were discussing how they need to start taking a break. They're not finding anything, but that's when this call comes in. Why? Because, well, they don't actually have a guardian in that house. And the closest contact that they have is, of course, Mary Campbell. And Mary goes down on the scene and quickly learns, okay, where's Ford? Where's Claire? Claire is missing. And that's where we see a familiar face, not to us, no, but to John Winchester. This is the cop that is there to greet them, and she has a history. Do you have her name?
Yes. We actually figured out that this is the Betty his mom was talking about that contacted him, that he ignored. Betty is John's ex-fiance.
Yes, we don't learn that until later in the episode.
Yes, but getting to it right now, the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah. But speaking about what's in the bag,
we didn't know their gauge, but we know that that it's a girl, and there's always because an ex shows up, the rival, the possible lovers, Mary and John. We know they're destined together. So you're like, go away, harlot. They're destined to be together. We're like hardcore shit.
I don't know. I don't mind looking at her. She's kind of cute.
And short.
Okay. Is that a requirement for you because of your size, Froggy?
Just 1 second.
Yep. Well, there we go. I don't know if he's actually doing something for the show or if he actually had to handle some frog business. But moving right along, yes, she is John's ex-fiance. We get to learn that. And they have a complicated history. But with that, they're able to eventually just move past it. Meanwhile, though, Mary talks to Ford. And Ford saw the whole ordeal, saw the hands grabbing her out of the bag and pulling her down into it. With that, Mary realizes, okay, he saw a monster. A little convenient, but he saw a monster right next door to Hunter's house.
Yes, so what they do is they bring Ford over to the Campbell house, and this is where John gets to learn about hex bags.
Yes.
And at this point, Ford's just kind of sitting there eating cereal. And then he realizes that they confess. They tell him, well, we hunt monsters. We hunt the things that took care of you. You're not crazy. And he's like, so you're some kind of monster club?
Yes.
You see John saying, well, yeah. He's like, can I be part of the monster club? He's like, sure.
What are we? Some kind of Suicide Squad?
So it was kind of cool. I mean, seeing obviously Mary and John got into doing some stuff and actually helping out kids and stuff, because usually that's a John, not really a John thing. That's usually we always saw Sam and Dean dealing with that, and I gotta say, Sam is really like John, and Dean is like his mom.
Yep.
So, and yeah, so it's kind of cool to see them going with that. Meanwhile,
what are Ana and Carlos up to?
There are because the box trap. We found out there's two demons because their translations. There's as actress pops up. Mary said, "Don't go alone," because Ava was not, especially wanted to go alone by herself.
Yes,
you saw that she was kind of irritated. So, what is she really up to? We know that she basically had contact with Mary's dad, but she's holding secrets. Remember, because she was in she did the trance. She was in the secret bunker, part of the Men of Letters. Which she didn't tell them. They found out afterwards when it was convenient for her to tell them. So they're kind of bored. They're following up on because the demon that possessed her had a partner. They're both after that box.
Yes, and so this partner is essentially what they're waiting out on. They are having a stakeout, and Carlos is clearly not happy about it.
And he is bored. And then the music. I forgot the music was playing, but he said, "This is how I'm going to die, with horrible music, a soundtrack to my death."
That's right. He says he doesn't understand why they don't just go in, bust the door down, kick some ass, and when conveniently.
I just want to say that he is my favorite character on the show, apart from John, because he's pretty much Cisco. The game they basically. I mean, and I'm not trying to say that because they're both
yeah, no, I understand.
Hispanic. No, it's because they have similar personalities. Cisco was always the one, he didn't want to wait, he wanted to do stuff, and he's always cracking jokes. That's what Carlos does.
Yep. And so essentially the demon they were looking for decides to take out
my bad.
Okay,
Do it.
There.
Ah.
He opens the door, pulls him out, and it seems like they're going to have a little bit of a tussle. However, the fight is short-lived. He is quickly thrown into the back of the mystery machine.
I kind of want to point out though that before he gets thrown back in the mystery machine, don't skip over the fact that this guy is not a really tough looking guy because he's possessed by a demon. He has unnatural strength. Carlos basically sprays him with a squirt gun. And the guy's kind of like, really,
Holy water.
So, yep. So, and there's a better collection. Now, tell me, that almost looks like he just came out of Short Circuit movie. 25 alive.
I suppose. But yes, he is quickly tossed in the back by actually Ada.
Ava pushes him. Yeah, Ada, or is Ava? Which one?
Ada, with the
Ada.
D.
She pushes him back, and wow, there's a devil's trap painted on a blanket attached to the roof. And Carl's like, how do you know it's there? He's like, well, driving so many miles in this car alone, you kind of tend to notice things. You get bored,
Who's ready to learn about a monster? I'm ready to learn about a monster. Are you? So this is when we get to go ahead and check in with Lada. Lada has been studying, and the details seem to go ahead and match a creature.
It Lada or Ladica?
It's Lada. I think her whole name is Ladica, but her nickname is Lada.
Whole Lada going on.
That's So the name of this creature we learn is the Bori Baba. The Bori Baba is a native.
It's a Native American monster from Native American passed down. There's a look in the journal book here. Basically, it's the hoarder of lost things. It basically lures its thing. It's like, hey, you think of the bag shows up and because basically if you're really you're looking for something, say, crap, I can't find my car keys. You really need it. Your car keys will appear inside this sterile bag, but when you go to grab the keys, you get pulled inside
by pixels.
As Ford figures out, because he gets a knock on the door. He looks out, sees this bag here. Notice the font on the bag. At first I thought it was like Arabic, like Jewish. I was like, what the heck's going on here? But apparently it's supposed to be Native American, I guess. Anyway,
I suppose.
So he looks inside the bag, and he's like, oh, it's Carrie's his sister's. It's her hair clip. And then he's like, oh, cool. He smiles, and then this happens.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
And I gotta say, I'm disgusted because I know that's a monster and he's never used Perel. And he's scared. He gets pulled in the bag. Literally, it's a TARDIS in a bag.
And then
gone.
Yeah, the bag disappears. Mary soon heads inside with John, and she gets ahead of him. And actually, who's there? The cop that we talked about. More details between their relationship gets passed back and forth. But as we know, the ultimate of it, that's not worth talking about. What's worth talking about is Mary. Because Mary decides to go in searching for Ford, and she doesn't find a thing. She knows that Ford has been taken.
Because both families conveniently have CBC radios, ham radios.
Mm-hmm.
She calls John, who's over at her place from the Ford's residence, and says, I'm going in after the kids. So, and he's like, no, it's a dangerous idea. He's like, well, she's like, you have to go talk to Lada and figure out how to get us out of here.
Indeed,
and he's like, I have no idea how to do it. He kind of panics. So she ends up doing that. She thinks of something. And pulls on a sack. It's her dad's hat. That she lost. She lost in episode 1, I think.
Think so.
Yes. So as she arrives in there, there's the monster. The kids are scared. Also, we get his arms chopped off, and we get her.
Later, she's an action hero.
Yeah, she's got the hat on. She puts the hat on.
Then this big old ball comes running after him. But no, the two children are being chased by the Bori Baba. And look at that. The way he's moving.
It's Oogie Boogie.
Well, what have we here? Well, what we have is a cut up monster, but quickly he starts regenerating his head and limbs, and Mary's like, we gotta run, and drags him along. But
Back at the
ultimately,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Back at where we cut back to John. John is basically talked to Lana, and she basically called her people because we found out also we've also found that her parents died.
yes.
So and John was basically felt so bad because why don't you just call your parents and like, oh, they're dead, and he's like, so
My bad, bro.
so they find out that basically it's like the only way to escape the place because they said they said to kill a monster, the monster leaves a piece of itself behind because it's weak in our world. It's only in their world, but they can't kill it. If they kill it outside of the world, everything inside that world gets destroyed, including John or Mary and the kids. So John figures, you know what? You said this thing has everything. Well, guess what? It must have a CB radio. How convenient!
There you
What
go.
a point.
Isn't that helpful?
So he contacts Mary, and she hears it. She's like, "What the fuck?" That's one of many.
Yes, that's one. And Lada basically goes ahead and dumps the lore. So, for you to get away from the Bori Baba, you essentially have to get over it.
And the little girl rips the head off the rabbit. Yep. He breaks the hair clip. They're gone. They're gone. So then Mary's like, all right, I'll do it. I'll burn the hair, but the head won't burn. Mr. Baba Yaga.
Yes, the Bori Baba.
Wife say wants to play still.
Let me in. No.
I love so she basically she runs back. She talks to John. She has a heart-to-heart with John, and John's like, she's like, oh, burn. He's like, so maybe it's not your attachment to your dad. Maybe it's because you don't know what you want to do afterwards. So maybe you're afraid to give up hunting because you're scared.
Indeed. And quickly, she decides, all right. Yes, I know what I have to do. And the Bori Baba, he's in there. He's ready. And she just, bloop, disappears. She goes back.
Well, we don't really know. This is actually connected to the Arkham universe. The Batman.
Scarecrow.
This is a Scarecrow. He's just a hoarder in this universe.
Yes. So they all escape his realm, but the Bori Baba isn't done with him. He tries to climb out of the bag as it appears, and that's when they basically cut his head off.
Yes. Then we get a happy ending with the mom, the trucker mom. She drives home. She hugs the kids. Thanks, Mary. And then we see this.
Yeah.
The ex-fiance Betty shows up. She gives him back the ring, and John says no hard feelings. And she obviously, you can tell this girl still has the hots for him.
Yep. But let's be friends.
I mean, he's a good-looking dude.
Okay.
He's got options. I'm saying.
Wait. Are you saying that he competes with Ethan Hawke for you?
I'm just saying he's tall. He's got a strong jaw. He could be the next Ash Williams.
You need to calm down with that water, Froggy.
You know what? You need to quit shaming me. Just because you're jealous.
Okay. There is a cool scene that we should go ahead and touch upon, and that's with Ada.
Oh, I was gonna say about Mary goes go see the movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna yell about Mary later. Let's go ahead and talk about Ada, because Ada takes the demon and says basically, let's question him. Let's go ahead and do it ourselves. Let's not just take him to Mary. And she has interesting techniques. She does get the information after threatening to trap him for hundreds of years in a bonsai tree. But the ultimate thing to watch here is, I feel, what she does after. She gets all she can from him, and he's like, okay, now send me home to hell. And
she puts him in the tree.
Yeah, and she puts him in the tree.
That's what I said. She's a little dark. I mean, I'm wondering what's really going on with her.
Yes, indeed. But yes, the movies.
Yes, and instead of taking John with her, she goes by herself. She's approached by this other handsome guy, Who's
Random handsome guy.
His name's not Bo, so don't worry. But yeah, so he's like, I'm going to see. She's like, he's going to see the movie Omega Man by herself. He's like, well, I don't like going to see a movie by myself either. Here's a crazy day. Why don't we go together? But I'm more upset that it's only $1.50. Why am I paying $13 for an? It's $1.50, man, for a 9:30 showing.
That's right. But we learn this important information. Essentially,
quickly though, I want to say about this.
Indeed.
I think that he's not human. I think he's a plant to get her to her.
Well, what kind of plant are you thinking he is?
Well, I'm thinking because we finally get to see the reveal of the big bad. I think it's the big bad son. I think it's this guru or wizard, whatever she is, the dark one.
Ruby, whatever her name is.
But she's a radio DJ. We know that. But and then okay, so that's why I think those two are connected. But maybe I'm
Roxy,
I guess.
Indeed.
So right. So,
and those CGI monsters we saw in at the end of the first episode, they're back and they go to her.
And John decides to burn his stuff he got from his dad. Or actually, not his dad, but he burns the burlap sack that the Baba Yaga or Oribaba was in.
With the head.
And then as we see Mary comes out of the theater smiling with this
Playboy.
This I don't know. I don't trust him.
I don't know either. But yes.
But then we get to see the little spider creature coming up. And what does it do? It takes the bag and runs away with it.
Give me your head. There you go. And yeah, Roxy looks pleased. She's a radio DJ, the one that we heard actually, I think, a couple episodes ago.
And here's another recurring theme too. Is that, well, the monster drops the bag. She reaches in and she grabs the little bottle we saw in the second episode. Remember the plant monster? And
Indeed.
She takes its soul out of it and captures it again and then stares at it. And I'm just gonna say, we got a really hot looking bad villain. I'm just saying, it's looking bad.
Are you sure you're not a horny back toad, Froggy? I think you are.
I'm just saying it is really cool.
There's a lot of interesting things they're setting up here. Whether or not we'll be able to follow through and it can connect to the greater supernatural verse, as it were, that still remains a question. I enjoyed most of this episode. I'm having a hard time feeling it. I know you're loving it, Froggy. I know it is your jam.
It is actually, like I said, it's like Scooby-Doo, but without Velma being gay.
That's right. Velma's bi at the most. There's no hard left or right for her. I'm okay with that. Anyway.
The only thing I'm disappointed is there's no dog.
There you go. There should be a dog. Anyway. That's it. We want to hear your thoughts, though. If you've been watching the show, let us know what you're thinking in the comments down below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps the channel. And that's about it for us. We want to thank you. No, it's not connected to the haunted Winchester Mansion. We want to thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Go see the Omega Man.
That's right.